Okay, warning, there were spoilers in this video. If you haven't seen the last couple episodes of Adventure Time, specifically season 9, episode 24 to 28, don't watch this video because you're not going to get it, or I'm going to ruin the fun for you. Just a warning. And yes, I have laptop notes again, so I'll be looking up and down and I can't remember everything, so let's just get this show on the road. I'm going to go over each episode and give my opinions on it, maybe theories, analysis, blah blah blah, you know, the usual. Starting with abstract. Now, I knew this would have to do with art as soon as I knew the title for it. I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how they're going to use the word abstract. I'm like, okay, how are they going to put artwork with the story? I loved it because it was philosophical and dealt with art. And we got to see Jermaine again. He's really cool, and we never get to see him much, so that was something I liked about it. And it was interesting how Jake, he's always in denial about changes, and he's always been like the immature type of guy. I mean, yeah, he has Lady and he has his kids and stuff, but he's still Jake. But he has to realize, you know, that there are changes as well, and I'm glad that he finally accepted some of those changes. The only thing about this episode that was kind of weird was how he quickly went from Blue Jake to normal Jake. I was kind of disappointed. I thought maybe he would get more info about his origins. Maybe his brother would know more, you know? But, yeah, you know, he went pretty quick. I guess one could argue that his emotions are connected with his abilities and vice versa. So maybe seeing his brother and accepting change helped him go back to normal, you know, through emotions and that connection, you know? So I guess you could say that's why he went so quick. But it was kind of a missed opportunity, you know? Like, they could have given us more clues or something, or maybe the shapeshifter from before, you know, could have returned in this episode. Maybe that would have been overkill with the other episodes, but just thinking out loud. Overall, though, I thought it was a pretty good episode. It was kind of weird how Jermaine knew only a little bit, like, oh, Dad just wants me to be supportive, and that's all I know. You know how secretive he was. Yeah, I instantly thought of other shows, especially the anime Blue Exorcist, with the two brothers, and one knows something and the other does not. I do love what Jake said, though. You know, as long as I know the shape of my soul, everything will be okay. I like that part. Moving on to Ketchup. Yes, storytelling time. I loved it. It was simple and sweet. Just some nice storytelling. Bimo and Marcy. You know, you don't usually get to see those two characters like together sharing stories. I thought it was an interesting, I thought it was interesting to see like a good pair up or a good matchup, whatever you want to say. And I'm still confused about Marceline with her backstory. Her timeline has a lot of continuity errors, as I like to say. We're still not sure how she went from one place to the next. Like, I assume that as a little kid, she was with her mother first. Like, maybe things didn't work out between her parents. They separated, she stayed with her mom while Hunt and Albert was in Nighter. And then during the Mushroom War, maybe she lost her mom, and then she was alone, and then she met Simon, and then she was alone again, and eventually she reunited with her dad. We don't know when that happened, or, I mean, we've gotten hints here and there, especially with the fries and stuff, but we still don't understand how he fits into her timeline. It's still kind of confusing, especially the whole half demon, half human, then later becomes a vampire. It's kind of confusing at times. But overall, it was a good episode, you know. I think we all have things that we can't say out loud, sometimes not even to ourselves. I thought that was really interesting. Moving down the list. Next in line, Fionna and Cake and Fiona. Okay, when I saw the sneak peek for this episode, I was joking about cosplay. Like, oh, I like cosplay, you know, because it's Fiona. I don't know, I was just a joke. And it ended up being canon that it was cosplay, which is funny. So I guess you can manipulate people through cosplay. Not that you would, not that you should, but I guess you can. We learn something new every day. Anyways, this episode, throughout the whole show, we assume Fionna and Cake were just fan fiction made by Ice King. Like, oh, it's just his imagination, just inspiration from real life, which is kind of true now, but kind of not. We still don't know for sure if they're even real, you know, since, like I said, it was cosplay. Those beams that were shooting into Ice King's head, I think they're related to the tape that the old woman had. Why those beams are in his head? I feel like someone's shooting them into his head on purpose, like, hey, this is our old show. Like, I feel like Fionna and Cake used to be a TV show from back in the day, and this old woman had an old tape, and maybe she's, you know, if you've seen the episode, you know what I mean. I want to figure out what those beams were, like why they're shooting them into his head, and whether or not Fionna Cake is real. I mean, yeah, maybe one would say, oh, it was just a TV show, it wasn't real. Who knows? We still can't say for sure if they're real or not. I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't a... It still felt like a Finn and Jake episode, not really a Fionna and Cake episode, and I was kind of disappointed. But otherwise, I thought it was interesting. It brought us some new information on whether or not they're real. And next is Whispers. Got to see the Lich again. I knew it was happening, thank goodness. Oh my god, especially after Elements, how Sweet Pea wasn't affected by Elements. So we assumed, oh, Lich is coming back. That's happening, thank goodness. I think it's interesting with Sweet Pea, how he kind of rose up in this episode. Good character development. He's not just a giant baby with horns in his head. And I'm glad that he actually stepped up to help out. You know, he's not just Sweet Pea, he's a character too, so I love how they gave him some development. The sad thing though, the Lich, I used to think that the Lich was the most devastating, relentless creature in all of Ooh. You know, I used to think he was like the thing, and he has always been the main antagonist of the whole show. But after this episode, I feel like we've seen a lot more of his disadvantages. He reminds me of Bill Cipher just a little bit from Gravity Falls, how we thought Bill had all the power, how he's showing off everything, pulling strings, fooling forward, but even he had his limitations, you know what I mean? Even he had his flaws. And I think the Lich now is showing some of those traits as well, so it was kind of sad because he's not as scary to me as he used to be, and it kind of sucks, but it's good because it's development. Even villains get development. I think it's kind of cool. Another person who got development was Fern. Oh my gosh. Okay. How do I put this? When we first saw Fern, I was afraid that he would try and take over everything and steal Finn's spot. Like, I literally thought, like, at first, like, oh no, this is like a clone. He's gonna try and defeat Finn and be in his place, you know. But that was so long ago that I kind of forgot about it, especially after Islands and Elements and everything else. This show is so notorious for showing you something, like introducing some new possibility, then waiting a billion episodes later to finally bring it back. And then by then, you've already forgotten. Especially after so many seasons, it all just blends together. So they've done that well. It's good for shock value, but for me, I can't remember anything, so I have to go back and look at everything. Long story short, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm more worried about Fern than I am about the Lich. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of cringy, like the Lich is the main villain, how are you more worried about Fern? What is this you were talking about? Well, think about it, we've defeated the Lich multiple times. Well, not we, but you know, Finn and Jake and everyone. We've already seen what he's capable of, and no offense, we don't know what's up with Fern, especially after that strange, I like to call him the wizard dude, because he's wearing a wizard kind of outfit, like the cloak and stuff. We don't know what his game is, and we still don't know what's left of Fern, you know, like, we have no idea what we're playing with here, and it's more unpredictable, so I'm more worried about Fern than the Lich. Thought I'd never say that. What else is there? Oh my god, 3 buckets. Let's do this. 1 second. Okay, we're good. I had some weird theories about this last episode, and I don't know how to explain some of them. Oh my god. So, what I just said now about the Lich and stuff kind of connects to this episode as well. That dude at the end who picked up the bucket, you know, who grabbed Fern's remains and put him in the bucket, we have no idea who he is exactly, and I'm kind of worried. Is he a good guy, bad guy? Is he on his own side? No one knows. Initially, I thought, I mean, think of it this way, my first theory, maybe he's Finn's actual uncle or some other relative because he sounded like Martin and he even looked like Martin. I knew it wasn't Martin, okay? Martin's like this, he got his beard, chubbier, you know, it's not Martin, trust me, I knew it wasn't him. But I assumed it was someone related to Finn, but I cringed as soon as I thought about it and I was like, no. So I went online, I decided to see what other people said about the episode and the mystery dude at the end, or wizard dude. And it turns out that that might not be it. But first of all, if he is related to Finn, it would kind of make sense. I mean, this is what he said at the end of the episode. He said, "Almost done, champ. There you go. Are you looking for an uncle?" It could be a metaphor, but if he is related to Finn or Fern or what, you know, Fern is like a shadow of Finn, so it kind of makes sense that he called himself Fern's uncle. But like I said, I cringed as soon as I thought of this. The second theory. So there's a video by a guy called DMAN of Everything, but for this video I'll just call him DMAN. Like, oh, it's DMAN. I don't know. That's just me. This is his theory, not mine. I'm not taking credit for this. It's his theory. I'm just reacting to it and giving my own opinions on it. Basically, the dude that we saw taking the bucket, he might be related to Princess Bubblegum. Now, I know that sounds kind of weird, like, she wasn't even, like, in the episode. What's going on, you know? How's that related? What the hell are you talking about? Well, we've seen this guy before in another episode called The Thin Yellow Line from season 7, episode 26. And basically, it shows Princess Bubblegum throwing the same dude into prison. And in the same video that I watched by D-Man, or DeMan, as I like to say, he basically mentioned how Princess Bubblegum, she's always mentioned her uncle, like, oh, my uncles do this and that. And I do remember that throughout watching this whole show, that she did mention her uncle in past tense. So that means he's either dead or she just doesn't see him anymore. And since she threw him in prison, supposedly, according to Banana Guard number 16, then yeah, maybe he wants to take over Candy Kingdom and get revenge on her. Here's the thing, refresher for that old episode, The Thin Yellow Line. So Finn and Jake are in the Candy Kingdom, and they see a bunch of art on the walls, like a mural kind of thing, graffiti. And they catch a Banana Guard doing it, but he's wearing like a bandana around him, like a white, you know, to cover his mouth. And he runs away and he joins the other Banana Guards, but he takes off the bandana and he blends in with the others. So Princess Bubblegum orders Finn and Jake to act as, I don't know, they go undercover as Banana Guards, you know, just to find out who did it. And when Finn finds him, the Banana Guard shows Finn all his artwork and stuff, and Finn, his mind is blown. Like, whoa, your art is amazing. You should put it in you should showcase it. Maybe show it to the princess. You know, you should show people your art. You should express it more, not just in secrecy, but more publicly. And of course, he said no. That's a bad idea, because all the Banana Guards were secretly afraid of Bubblegum because of the things she did in the past. And he said, look, man, Princess Bubblegum is amazing, but she's flippin' scary. And he had this whole there's a scene where he was telling Finn about all the crazy things she did in the past, and he even showed her locking up the same wizard dude from the end of 3 Buckets. So, yeah, unfortunately some of the things in that scene weren't accurate, like Nettie being chained up and forced to live as a prisoner, you know, like that. Nettie enjoyed providing juice for the Candy Kingdom, so that's not even accurate. So we can't say for sure how accurate the other part is, but since he's appeared again, I'd say he's pretty accurate. And also think about it, we already had multiple episodes about Finn and his backstory with his parents. Why would they give us his uncle or anyone else from his family? It doesn't make sense. It's kind of overkill. You know, that's what Islands was for, you know, like, why would they do that? And he was the only character without a real backstory that we know of. Princess Bubblegum. We know a little bit about her past, but we don't know crap compared to everybody else. We already know about Marcy, Finn, even Jake, even BMO's backstory. I mean, if we know all of them, we still don't know much about PB. And I think through this dude at the end, I think the time is finally gonna come, and it's gonna be worth the wait. Honestly, I think it's gonna come. We're gonna find out info about her. The other thing on the wiki, it says that he's a humanoid gum person, I think that's what it said. So, yeah, that's what it said. So basically, he might be, if he fits the qualifications of being made of bubble gum and stuff, so biologically he could be related to her, just like Nettie, maybe. Maybe not just like it, because uncle, you know, but you get the gist. The only thing that I feel bad for Finn. At the end of 3 Buckets, I I know he doesn't realize that Fern's still alive, so he's obviously freaking out. I think he'll get over it eventually. He's already been through a bunch of other stuff, and I think he'll be okay. And all the shit he's been through, I think he'll recover eventually. At least I hope he will. I mean, maybe Fern will come back and he'll finally see Fern's okay, and then he'll be okay. But I have hope he'll be fine, so I hope Finn will recover from this. Ooh, that was really dark at the end. Anyways, that is all on those last couple episodes. Oh yeah, if you want to see D-Man's video with his theory on the wizard dude, as I like to call him, on how he's related to Princess Bubblegum, I put the link below so you can watch it if you want. I highly recommend you do. That is all. I will catch you guys on the flip side.